let's see what happens. Okay, so the main thing about when you need to add, when individuals get added to Civi, is the best solution for that is for them to add themselves, because then we have evidence that's recorded straight away into Civi as to how, when and why they were added to Civi. So did they fill in a membership application form? Did they register for an event? Did they ask to be added to our mailing list? And for all of those forms, when they're submitted via the website, there is something in there that means that they've accepted our privacy notice and maybe our terms and conditions for booking on an event. And that says how we're going to use their personal data. And it also records the time, the date that they were added. And so that's our sort of GDPR evidence of compliance, all done and dusted. So we're trying to, and also it saves us work in theory. So we're trying to minimize the amount of times that we actually have to do this in the back end. But if you get a request like you've got for somebody who wants to join our mailing list and it's come directly through to you, the main thing you've got to work out is whether they're already on Civi or not before you add them. And then when you add them, you've got to record the same evidence of how and why they were added, and so that we've got proof that we haven't just randomly collected their personal data. So let's think about how we're going to do this. So we have got here in email, we've got this person. And so the way that you can check to find out if they're already on is you use the quick search box usually, and you start with their surname, which I've forgotten what it was already. Oh, Hallgarth. Right. So that's not looking likely to be a duplicate. I suppose there's always a chance that she's typed, it's been entered wrongly. I can just put in half of the name, get everybody with Garth in their name. I'm not seeing anything that looks remotely similar. The other thing to do is to actually just paste the whole email address in there and see if anybody comes up. So this one's looking like it is one that we can add safely. So those are the kind of checks that you do before you sort of even get as far as going to sort of start the process of adding somebody. You might also, if you knew that the person's employer, you might look directly for that organisation and then see if there's anybody related that looks like it's that person. So we've established this person whose name I can't pronounce isn't on Civi. So we go to contacts on the black Civi menu across the top and create new individual. And then you get a couple more chances to make sure you're not creating a duplicate. So I'm going to paste in that email because I've already got it saved. And actually that's got her name in it, hasn't it? Kinos. Right. So if there was anybody similar, so just now I typed in Joe Blogs, and what happened is on the right hand side of the screen, I can show you in my PowerPoint, I got this great big long list of similar contacts that Civi had found, everybody called Joe. So that is, if you are typing in a more common name, you get a chance to make sure they're not on there using that function. But we're looking quite safe for this person. And the other way, one more thing to say before I go any further is if we knew the employer, which we sort of do, look at the email again. Kered, that's the employer there? C-E-R-E-D, let's see. You can type that into Civi and it will bring up in the same way as it's looking for duplicates. It's looking here for, I don't think that's them, is it? No. Ceredigion. Is it the Ceredigion County Council? I've probably said that really badly. Hmm?
Yeah. Oh no, it's ceredigion.gov.uk, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not. Oh, it's so complicated in Wales. I think that's, rather than create something completely separate, that one has got the same email address.
Gov.uk. Yeah.
If I just saved it as Kerid now, it would create a new organisation. But if I click here, it's going to relate this person to that county council, which I think in this case is fair enough, I think. And so that will create a relationship when we save. So just the second opportunity for the final check, if you like, for a duplicate, is you can use this button here, check for matching contacts. And it's come up with that. Can you see the nice black message that says no matches found?
Yeah.
And it's using a particular rule to look for those. So I think we're sort of safe to go ahead. Now, we can actually do most of what else we need to do in here before we save. So if we want to add in this person's address, I'm going to copy it from here. I'm actually going to copy it into Notepad just to get rid of all the nasty formatting in case that. So I deselected it and then selected it again. That's really useful for newsletters as well.
Okay.
I've done some other tips for that, Amy, that I haven't shared with you yet. I just did them the other day for newsletters. Is it just the newsletter or Meg?
It's Meg at the moment, but it will be me, so definitely useful to know.
I don't know which of those words goes where. Differently.
I'm not the right person.
It's not an easy example, is it, really?
No. It's good to have a challenge.
And what city is that? No idea. Was that the city? Let's go with that. And we can put some geographical data in. We know this person's in Wales. I don't know what part of Wales. South west, SA.
Yeah.
And I don't know what county. Glamorgan. I guess. What do you think, SA?
Why not?
I don't think it matters that much for her. It would matter for somebody with a member organisation.
Yeah.
For more general contacts, we don't really use the geographical data that specifically, but for people that are related to member organisations, we might well use it. And then this person is being added because they want to go on a mailing list, correct?
Yes.
In that case, you're adding them to a group, and there are a lot of groups, and the way to sort of narrow it down is to type in, I've tried to organise them with a common name at the front, and the mailing lists at the moment are all under SF and G mailing lists, and you find your newsletter there. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I want to do that again. If you needed to tag them for some reason, you've got lots of tags, and they're all grouped under Wales, but no idea how organised they are. So I think that's it. Oh, we could put in a phone number for her. I think that'll do. So I've clicked save, and there she is. So this is a relationship that we created to the council. There she is in the newsletter group. and all the other information that you've input is there. The thing that remains is because we are adding this person and they haven't, so when they add themselves via a web form, there are activities that are automatically created that show the date and when they were added. So we've got to kind of replicate that manually.
Okay.
And I need to remember what I've created for this. Oh, right. Those are for growing care farming. I think until we could call it data policy acceptance. Trying to work out what's the best one to tell you to use. You could either use general info or contact updated, or I'm going to use data policy acceptance. And then I always start the subject with the words GDPR, reason added to Civi. And then what I would really like you to do is to copy this person's email, not all the blooming logos, but the data that she's given us, including the date where she said, please add me to your mailing list. So copy that and paste it into the body of the activity. And you can, if you can be bothered, you can tidy it up a bit, because it seems to any of this, it doesn't really matter. Nobody's ever going to look at it. But the essential bit is you've got the date that they asked, the date you added them, and the request, because her name, her email address, and her phone number all count as personal data for GDPR. And then save that. And then she'll now get the newsletter, and if she thinks after a while, I really hate these newsletters, I don't want to be on this mailing list anymore, she can use the unsubscribe links.
Amazing, so she can go herself if she needs to.
Oh, I think this is good actually, this using the data policy acceptance type, because that this GDPR tab here is an extension that we've got plugged into Civi, and it records when people use the links to add themselves to mailing lists, when people accept the terms and conditions and things like that. So it builds up a picture of our GDPR compliance. And I didn't realise that by using that particular activity type, it's recorded it directly into here.
Okay.
So that's really good. So yes, please do that. Okay. So I don't know if that's helpful. I hope
yes.
so. That's kind of more or less it for individuals.
Yeah, no, it's just good, definitely good to kind of go through it again, and it's really helpful being able to see what you're doing on the screen as well. Just in terms of kind of cementing it into my memory.
I don't know if I can stop recording. Just talk to you generally now. Where's it gone? No idea how to stop recording, so that'll be entertaining for whoever else watches this piece of training.
Well, thank you very much. No. That was very helpful. Thank you, Diane.
Great. Okay. Oh, here we